If you have a favorite between these two dinos, let me know in the comments. But my personal favorite is actually Evolsaur. The sneeze from this monster is so fierce that people often mistake it for a hurricane. Starting off, I play 3 copies of Sabersaurus and 3 copies of Evolsaur. 3 copies of Jirac Guaiba, I play 2 copies of REDU Rabbit, 2 copies of Tour Guide from the Underworld. A good companion for her can be Sangan. And for the last monsters in the main deck, I play 2 copies of Spirit Reaper. And for the spells, I play 3 copies of Forbidden Lands, 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. Additionally, with the 3 copies of Forbidden Lands that I play, I have a lot of ways to already answer their back row. So the MSTs are mostly in here just to have additional back row removal when you get into situations where you have a read and a solemn warning. And for those of you that play Edison format, Wind Up Factory is Black Whirlwind on crack, so you really want to remove that card. Then I play REDU's equivalent of the Trinity, being Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, and Monster Reborn. Arguably not as good as the GOAT format Trinity, these cards are still very powerful in this format. And for the last spell is a copy of Book of Moon. Then for the trap cards, I play 3 copies of Compulsory Evacuation Device, 2 copies of Macrocosmos, 2 copies of Dimensional Prison, 2 copies of Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 copies of Torrential Tribute, and 2 copies of Solemn Warning, 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, 1 copy of Starlight Road. And then for the side deck, I have 2 copies of Maxi, 2 copies of Raikou, 2 copies of Thunder King Ryo, the 3rd copy of MST, 2 copies of Nobleman of Crossout, 2 copies of Soul Taker, 2 copies of Needle Sealing, and the last 2 side deck cards are 2 copies of Vanity's Emptiness. For the extra deck, I have 1 copy of Tempo, 1 Acid Golem, Wind Up Sandmains, 1 copy of Levier the Sea Dragon, 1 copy of number 17 Leviathan Dragon, 1 copy of Gemnite Pearl, 1 copy of Merogeist, 1 copy of Steel Swarm Roach, 2 copies of Evolsaur Dolkka, 1 copy of Maestroke the Symphony Jin, 1 copy of Photon Papilloperative, 2 copies of Laggia, and 1 Stardust Dragon.
If you enjoy my content, make sure to also subscribe to my second channel, linked in the description box down below.